Hello! Today, or this evening, I'm going to be going over how I shoot my videos of live music at different venues. I'm just going to give you a behind the scenes kind of view on the equipment I use and how I usually go about doing a session when I go out to record. So, here it is, how I shoot video for my stuff on my channel. So everything I use is going to be right in this bag. I show up to the venue and wherever the show's at, and I bring this bag in with me, and all my gear is inside this. So it's my little bag of tricks. The camera I use primarily is a Canon T6i. It's a DSLR camera. I did research for a while and picked out one and got the creator kit that came with the microphone and a couple other things. Over time, I switched over to a 50mm lens that Canon makes. I use the manual focus on it, and there's no zoom feature to it, so it's pretty much what you see is what you get. I like it because of the shallow depth of field it has, as far as making things look a little bit more cinematic or giving you that blurry background effect. So this is my setup that I use a lot. I'll use this camera and I try to hold it as still as I can. I try to position myself somewhere in the venue using the strap like this and stabilize it as much as I can. I don't like to take a tripod with me or have a lot of accessories to keep up with throughout the night. So mainly if you're shooting, I'll try to do it like this, have my strap like that, and try to keep it very still, and then focus on what I would like to focus on. That's if I'm by myself, and just doing one camera like that. Then from there, recently I got a Sony a5000. Does the same video basically as what this guy does. This is handy if I have a second person with me and I can get a second angle on the footage. And this is also using a 50mm lens with manual focus on there as well. So it helps if the person helping me out or doing the second camera can do the focus ring on there, which isn't too bad to learn after just a couple of minutes. It's understandable how to get something in focus just by adjusting the ring. But from there, it shoots the same kind of quality video I'm getting from the Canon T6i. So that's if I'm using two camera setups. I can also use this on a tripod in the back of the venue. That will give me as far back shot as I can get while I'm doing more up close handheld shots with this camera. That's the camera side of things. That's the video side of things. I typically shoot at the lowest aperture they can do. This one does 2.0 and this one will do 1.8, and the lenses will do that low aperture on there. That's great for low lighting conditions for a music venue. With that, I also I'll do the ISO on the camera will usually be set at 800, and if I really feel like things are getting washed out, I might lower it. But I never really go above 800, no matter how dark things are, in order to avoid the grainy look. So I keep it at the lowest aperture the lenses can do. I keep the ISO no more than 800, 24 frames per second, and then 50mm lens with manual focus. That's the video side of things. Now we'll switch over to audio. So the recorder I use is the Zoom h4n. This has been really handy as far as recording my own little demos at home or doing any kind of podcast audio. The great thing I like about this is I'm usually able to always walk away no matter what happens with some kind of decent audio. It uses AA batteries. I invested in some rechargeable batteries, which has helped me a lot compared to swapping out and buying new ones all the time. When I'm at a venue, I can usually, if I'm trying to do as fast as I can or something's going on, I can set this up in the back somewhere, and as the band is doing a sound check, I can adjust the input volume on there with these room mics. So that's really handy, because if the band's playing super loud or anything like that, the audio on the cameras are just going to be unusable. And it's not really realistic too, because if you're using the audio on the cameras, you're still going to be hearing you moving around with them, or there might be weird phasing issues if you're trying to mix the audio from that. So it's good just to use only the audio from the recorder. what I usually do is this will be the first thing I set up when I get to a venue. I will set this up. I usually try to be near whoever's mixing the sound. If there's a sound engineer, I ask them politely if I can, record from where they're standing, because that's how they're mixing the sound. And these room mics will reflect what a person's ears hears. The great thing about the H4n is that you can put in 2 additional inputs on there. And I usually just talk to the sound guy about sending me just a mix of whatever they're using. It's not perfect, but it really helps kind of level things out when you use the audio from the room mics and mix in whatever the board mix was underneath it. And on this recorder, you can separate that as 2 tracks. So you'll have a track that is just the room mics, and then you'll have a track that is just the mix from the board. And you can control the inputs on that as well. So the main thing is with this audio stuff is making sure nothing's clipping. You want to make sure you can turn the inputs down if you're at a venue. That way you don't experience any clipping or distortion, and you can have a better mix of it once you are putting everything together. So I usually set that up, and then there's a cue to record button on here, and it highlights what all you've got inputting, and then you can do start recording to press that record button again. And I usually leave it on throughout the night. If the bands are changing over in sets, then I might push stop and then get it restarted again. But usually, surprisingly, the battery life on these are really good. If you're at a show that's about like an hour and a half long, I can usually record the audio for all that. The video, I'm a little bit more picky on. I don't really film video for the whole time I'm there, because that's a lot of footage for me to go through, and usually I can tell after the first song if the band is going to be tight enough for me to record, or if it's going to be, usually the second song for some reason has always been a good hit for me. Second or third song, the band's kind of worked out their kinks, the sound has been, there's no really, feedback issues have been usually resolved by that point. From there, I've got my video, and at the end of the night, I stop recording the audio, and then when I bring it all together, I usually drop the audio in, normalize it, and do some editing through that, and mix it all together to where I'm happy with it. And then I'll review the video and see what songs I actually captured, and sync it up with the audio and mix it all together. That'll be a whole nother video about how I go about editing my multicam music performances as well. But I just wanted to give you a rundown of the main things that I'm using when I'm out there recording. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions about my process or any of the gear that I use, let me know and I will answer them. Thanks for watching, and I will make another video shortly, and I hope you will enjoy that one too. Have a good night.